Corley Moore, Firehouse Vigilance, going live. Weekly scrap number 21, second scrap of 2020. And I am super excited today because we've got Jim Moss of Firefighter Functional Fitness, literally wrote the book on firefighter fitness. And so we're going to have him on today and talk about, of course, firefighter fitness as well as all issues firefighter related. And pretty excited to have him on here today. We're also going to have his partner, Dan Kerrigan, on coming up in the future. Court, Dream, Oklahoma, all joining. Welcome, guys. Firefighter Fit. I see them. Dun, 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 dun. I'm sending the invite. I'm getting better at this technology thing, slowly but surely. Boom, there we go.
What's up? I figured it out.
Together, we are getting it done.
That's right. I might be a little technologically challenged, but you led me through it.
You're giving me way too much credit. So, Jim Moss, welcome to the Weekly Scrap, Firehouse Vigilance, and Firefighter Functional Fitness. Super excited to have you on here today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here, man. I'm glad we finally connected, and I love all that you're doing, and I'm honored to be here. I don't get to say this often, or to talk to people that influence me so much, but your posts on social media is one of the things that got me to start becoming artistic and posting motivational posts. So awesome. I can never say. I love your quotes. I love your quotes that you use, and just like the message and how you put everything together is awesome. So very, very meaningful, very impactful. So I'm learning from you now.
Shoot. They say imitation is the greatest form of flattery, so I hope you take the flattery from my imitation. Good. So, and then what's funny is, I wasn't even talking about this, but whenever I see a quote that I love you put up, and then I'm like, man, I really want to use that quote, but now I need to wait like a month or so before I use it. Otherwise, I don't want to just look like I'm taking his quote.
Put it in the bank. You got to put it in the
There
bank.
you go, yeah, the quote bank. Of course, you don't need an introduction, but go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit to everybody watching, and go for it.
Yeah. So my name is Jim Moss. I'm a fire captain with the Metro West Fire Protection District here in St. Louis County, Missouri. For the purposes of this interview, I am one of the co-partners of Firefighter Functional Fitness, along with Dan Kerrigan. We came out with Firefighter Functional Fitness back in 2015. And then we wrote a book in 2016 called Firefighter Functional Fitness. And it's become a #1 Amazon bestseller. We've been incredibly honored and humbled by that. And we can't believe it's now in over 40 countries worldwide.
Wow.
Can't believe that it hit the #1 bestseller on Amazon. And, we've been able to share our message at different fire departments in more than 20 states in the U.S. And Dan got to go to the U.K. to share our message.
Really? That is awesome.
So, I mean, yeah, we're authors. Yeah, we go around the country and speak, but just like you, I mean, we're passionate about just improving the fire service. We're passionate about our mission is creating a healthier fire service, one firefighter at a time. So that's really what we're all about. It's fun to say we wrote a book and we get to speak, but really it comes down to connecting with firefighters just like you do. So that's what we're really interested in, and just trying to improve people's lives, people's health, because we all know that health is a big issue within the fire service now. We all know that firefighters are dying way too young, whether it's from heart attacks, stroke, cancer, other diseases, suicide, PTSD, all these different things that we're really struggling with now. And if we can make a small impact just with the health, wellness, and fitness of some firefighters to extend their career, extend their retirement, because we all know too many firefighters die right after they retire. I want to make sure that we use those retirements, use those pensions if we have them to the fullest, and to really enjoy life to the fullest, and be here for our family, be here for our friends, and just enjoy life as much as possible.
Enjoy that retirement for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, there's no doubt that your message resonates with the modern day fire service. The trying to think of everything. The Big 8, the Big 4, and I wanted to ask, I'll start with, you guys have been all around the country literally wrote the book on firefighter fitness. And I wanted to put you on the spot and say, what do you see as the major problem facing the modern fire service?
I think it all comes back to personal accountability. And I think it comes back to our mindset. You mentioned the 3 A's: attitude, accountability, and action. And that's one of the chapters. That's one of the things we really hammer in the book. It's all about our mindset. It's all about our personal attitude, our accountability, and are we going to put it all into action? So in the fire service, we all know that it's easy to be mediocre, right? But we don't want to take the easy route. We need to make sure that we're pushing ourselves to becoming the best that we can be as firefighters, not only with our health and fitness, I mean, with our training, with what we're reading, with who we're engaging with. If we're on a PR assignment or something like that, if we're out in the public, making sure we're not just brushing people off, being rude, but we're actually doing what we signed up to do. We're upholding the oath that we said we would sign up to do. We're out, we're interacting, we're making other people's lives better, we're serving them, and we're making sure we're not taking the easy way out. Because I think a lot of firefighters in the fire service, I'm sure it's not just my fire department, where there's some individuals who just want to take the easy route, take the shortcut, but we all know there ain't no shortcuts. So,
right.
Going back to your original question, it all comes back to our mindset, our personal accountability, and making sure we're not settling for mediocrity.
So just battling that mediocrity.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And like you said, and the personal accountability is so huge, so huge. And starting with company officer, I think that agree with me, disagree with me, or whatever, or debate. Company officer and the bar he sets for his crew by example and by just what he accepts
that they give, right?
The expectation is such a big word. Yes, that's the perfect way to say it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Being a company officer, I've been a company officer now for about 5 or 6 years, and the company officer sets the tone. The company officer comes in that morning, or comes into the firehouse for training or whatever it is, and they got a chip on their shoulder, they got a bad attitude. Everyone else is going to have a bad attitude. The rest
100%.
Of the day. But if I decide to show up, everybody has stuff going on at home, right? Everybody has stuff outside of work that's stressing them out. But if I show up and I bring all that baggage into the firehouse, and, I have this huge chip on my shoulder, and I'm saying, and I brush that off and I spread it to my firefighters. I work 48s. I work 2 days in a row with my crew. So imagine that. That's a long 48 working together. If we have that kind of mindset and attitude going forward. But yeah, going back to the company officer, I'm big. We just started our new year. We got a couple new crew members on my crew, and I'm kind of old school, but I'm that company officer that sets the tone by just coming together as a crew. First, I ask them, what are your expectations for me as your company officer?
Nice,
right? Because I want to hear from them first. I don't want to just be like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. I want to ask them first, hey, what do you expect from me? I take that all. I actually write it down in a document. And then we have a meeting. We had our meeting a day later, and I'm like, all right, so this is what I expect from you guys. This is what you expect from me. And then we just talk through it. Some company officers are so laissez-faire. They just go through and they want to win the popularity contest. And it's nice.
The buddy.
We all know that. But I mean,
sure.
It's better to be respected, right? So
no, absolutely.
I think if you establish those expectations, and I'm so old school that I actually write them down, and pass them out to my crew, and that's just my style. I'm all about those lists and doing the check off and all that stuff. But I think as company officers, if we share our message in that way at the beginning of the year when we're with our crew, there's no excuse. If they don't meet those expectations because they didn't know and we didn't share it with them, that's only going to fall back on me and company officers. So, long-winded response to what you said, but yeah, company officers set the tone, not only for that day, but for the entire year, maybe even for the decade that they're with some of the same crew members.
And set the arc for the whole career of some young guys or the crews, etc.
Yeah,
And I love what you said about writing it down, even though that you call it old school, but no matter who I talk to, whether it be an interview or just in the departments as traveling, is those guys who are old school, those guys who do take the time to write it down and pass it out, seem to be the ones who are successful as company officers. Yeah. Not that it's a requirement to do that, but it sure seems to be a common theme.
Yeah, and I think for me, and I'm speaking for myself, I think for me, if I don't write it down, I'm gonna forget it, right? So I mean, on my phone, I got stuff written down, to-do list. It's all prioritized, and I do that for even my duty days. What needs to get done. I'm old. I'm that old school company officer. I write it on a dry erase board, not only for myself, but we all know firefighters. They want to know what to expect, right?
Absolutely.
They want to know what the agenda is for the day.
For the day, yes.
My crew, he's like, "What are we doing today? What are we doing today?" And he's only been there for 5 minutes. And he just wants to know, what's the schedule for that day. And I think that's fair. I mean, firefighters, we all want to know what we're going to have to do. Are we going to training? Are we doing company training in the firehouse? Are we, doing something else? Company inspections in the area. So I think that's only fair to let your firefighters know what's not only going on, what you expect for the year, but also for the day or the tour.
Absolutely, man. When it's the mystery day, when I was a young guy, man, I hated the mystery day. Like, sit back and shut up in the back of the rig, and we'll tell you when we get there.
Yeah.
And so there's not that much you could.
That's not helpful to anybody. Whether you got 20 years on or you got 2 days on. Everybody wants to know what to expect and what's expected of them.
Right on, right on. I was going to say, in your travels, in your teaching, going to the conferences, writing your book, and talking to people like me and everybody else. Does anyone actually try to argue that physical or the fitness is not important? Do you actually get people who make that argument?
So most of the people that come to our classes know what they're going to expect, and we know we're going to expect of them. So not too many of those people will argue with us in class with a question or anything. But within the fire service, especially within my own fire department or elsewhere, you'll hear these excuses, which are some of the best excuses that you'll hear. Like, you only have so many heartbeats, so you don't want to use them up, exercising by getting your heart rate up, because that means you're going to die sooner, right? I mean, like, some people are saying that tongue in cheek or whatever.
Sure.
But, we've all heard the excuses before, and people argue against fitness. Oh, I'm going to get injured. Well, I'd rather be prepared, and maybe there's a possibility of risk of getting injured on the fire ground, maybe while I'm working out at the firehouse or off duty as well. I'd rather take the chance on that and be prepared, right? So I mean,
sure.
Any of us can die in a car wreck. Tomorrow. We don't know when, God's calling us up. We don't know when that's going to be, but we need to make sure as firefighters, we're going to put our best foot forward. One of my favorite quotes by Mark von Oppen is, 99% of the battle is preparation and 1% is actually execution. And if that doesn't speak to firefighters,
yeah,
we got to prepare, be ready, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all around. We need to be prepared for battle. And you know this statistic: 1 to 3% of a firefighter's time is actually spent fighting fire. 1 to 3%. So we need to make sure we're spending a lot of time preparing for our Super Bowl moment, when we go.
There's no doubt.
Yeah,
100%.
Whether it's fighting a fire or a rope rescue or an EMS call that may be a little bit more intense than some of the rest of them if you run EMS. So we got to be prepared all around.
Absolutely. No, I love it. Now I'm going to switch tracks on you and say there is Dan and Jim, Firefighter Functional Fitness. What are your guys' roles? I know I'm bringing Dan on, and I'm going to tell him that you won the arm wrestling contest to be on first, but go ahead.
Yes, yeah. I was available sooner. He's more popular. He has more stuff to do, so I won.
Fair enough.
But we have such an awesome partnership, and we're both good at unique things, right? So I do basically 95 to 96% of our social media that you see.
Okay.
So putting together the posters and stuff like that. Usually putting together like a workout, or I do a lot of the videos that we record for exercises and movements. Dan does some of those too, but I do most of the actual posting and social media content like that. So Dan does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that I hate doing, but he finds it enjoyable. So he contacts a lot of people, setting up our workshops and stuff like that. And then when we're together, we team teach it, and it's awesome because he has certain topics that he likes to talk about, and he does well teaching, and I have certain topics that I like to talk about while we're teaching. And we just go, it's that partnership, that yin and yang, that we get to share our message, and bounce ideas off each other even while we're teaching. And that's what we love doing the most, is getting out to fire departments and teaching and doing that hands-on physical fitness, and trying to get firefighters, expand their horizons on physical fitness. And maybe they've been doing the same thing over and over and over again for years. And hopefully we can give them maybe 3 things that they take home: exercises or nutrition wise, hydration, recovery, whatever it is. Hopefully we can give them a couple things that they can take home and use and actually adopt.
You're right.
Yeah, so I mean, we have our own things that we like to deal with or not deal with, and the other guy takes care of that, because he's told me before, man, I can never do the social media stuff you do, and I'm like, man, I can never do the stuff you do. So it's a good partnership.
Court Smith says, your principles have helped me and J-Lo build one of the best recruit academy processes in the country.
Oh, that's fun. That's awesome.
Yes. Jared Sergi, their class is great. Book is awesome too.
Hey,
so
check out his book too.
No doubt. And so I don't want to lose my spot as I read some comments here.
I'm just going to distract you. Don't worry.
You're good. I was Jim and Dan, and the tag team teaching approach has to be so fun. Because I can only imagine being able to just pass it off and work off each other and feed off each other and
and one
focus.
One of the nice things with our classes, our workshops, they're so interactive. So we might teach for about 10 to 30 minutes, and then we're up doing physical fitness for 20 to 30 minutes after that. So it's kind of nice that one of us is teaching a certain topic. I'm sure we'll talk about the Big 8 or whatever. But say Dan's teaching about core strength. Well, I'm in the back or wherever we are at that fire department, setting up, the mats and the different equipment while he's doing that. So it's a really fluid relationship. It's really balanced that we have. And the fun thing is that kind of when we switch teaching certain topics that we teach, if he's normally teaching, like, we talk about the cardiovascular risks that firefighters face. And sometimes we swap that, and we get to share different ideas that maybe the other guy is thinking about or not thinking about. And it's really an awesome relationship that we get to share.
No, that's awesome. I'm going to have to catch a class in person, so I will do so when it comes close.
We'll be at FDIC. It's not our normal workshops, but we will be at FDIC in April this year. It will be our 5th year teaching, I think.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm teaching 11 steps to creating a culture of firefighter fitness, more so about creating, a culture of wellness.
Sure.
Departments, what kind of equipment should you buy? What's the biggest bang for your buck? Should you start a fitness committee? What kind of physical fitness testing should you have? Whether it's career or volunteer, all these different ideas, 11 steps that everybody can take home to start implementing at the fire department. Yeah. And
that sounds phenomenal.
Dan's teaching a class. Well, we team teach him, but Dan's teaching a class that's all about all the other stuff with wellness that's outside of the actual physical fitness. So recovery and rest, which is our 2nd pillar, hydration, our 3rd pillar, and our 4th pillar, nutrition. One of the big ones for firefighters, right?
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt. I know it is for me.
We always say we might argue about fire tactics and whether interior, transitional, and exterior, whatever you want to call it, but every firefighter loves to eat. So we got to make sure we eat the right things in the right amounts.
Absolutely. And no, it's now this one I got to ask this after you said that new class, your 11 principles of the culture. Is that the next book?
No, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Really, I do. Okay. Do it.
We have to do it now.
There it is. I can't wait to get it. So you have to sign it.
That's right. You get the first copy, buddy.
Done. I will hold you to that. Okay.
Right.
So, advice, and I don't want to dip into your classes and stuff, but advice to someone who wants to get a fitness program going at their department. Major hurdles.
Okay. Yeah. So
Go ahead.
At the fire department level?
Yes.
Okay. So there's multiple steps, and I could bring up my PowerPoint if you wanted to. But let's just say three of the best things.
Okay.
First of all, and this may sound very boring, but it's very important. Firefighters at fire departments every year have to have NFPA 1582 medical evaluations. So if anyone just goes and Googles NFPA 1582, you can also go to the International Association of Fire Chiefs website, and they have a document that you can download. But every firefighter, before we even talk about physical fitness, needs to make sure that they have an annual medical evaluation that's compliant with NFPA 1582. And we talk about that in our book as well.
Right,
so
start there. That's the starting point.
We don't want firefighters, working out if they're grossly out of shape and they have certain risk factors that need to be taken care of before, we start talking about physical fitness.
Sure.
Otherwise, the second step would be, I don't know if you'll believe this or not, you probably will, but there are fire departments out there that prohibit physical fitness while firefighters are at the firehouse. They will, no. I'm not kidding, they prohibit physical fitness, their firefighters, from working out while on duty because they view it as a risk. They can get injured. They believe that they're not going to be immediately physically ready if a fire comes in. And that's one of the excuses we hear all the time for fire.
Yeah, no, I was going to bring that.
I work out so hard that I wouldn't be ready for a fire. I'm like, I doubt that's the case. If you work out that hard and it sounds like you're in shape. So don't give me that excuse.
Right.
So that's the other thing is making sure that the leadership, if you have a union at your fire department, with the command staff, the administration, is all together, whether you have a union or not, making sure it's all together and fitness is supported, wellness is supported, right? So that it needs to be one of the second steps. One of the third steps is just making sure that firefighters get fitness evaluation. So that's NFPA 1583, not 1582, like I talked about. Talking about
another book, right?
NFPA standards. I know it's boring, right? But making sure that firefighters have fitness evaluations that are NFPA 1583 compliant, and everything is lined out. We have a free download at our website, firefighterfunctionalfitness.com, that talks about NFPA 1583 and doing a fitness evaluation for your firefighters at your fire department. And we talk all about that in our 11 steps class for FDIC as well. And
that's
going
awesome.
Beyond that, talking about making sure that firefighters have the right fitness equipment at their fire department. And we have a list of probably 50 pieces of equipment total that are less, if you add them all up, are less than $5,000. So you can pick and choose from that list. We have, what website to get them from, how much they cost. So that's in our class too. So that's important too, because some people are like, I don't know what fitness, what to get.
Absolutely.
Treadmills can go up to $10,000 each, and we're saying you can probably, if you really want to run, you can probably run around the outside of the house, around the apparatus bay, something like that. So don't spend your money necessarily on a treadmill. Maybe more so focus on getting sandbags, slam balls, TRX straps, kettlebells, rubberized dumbbells as well, yoga mats, a prowler sled to where you can push, pull, and drag and all those different things. Those are only $175, bumper plates, barbells, stuff like that. So we talk about
completely bang for the buck on all that. No, bang for the buck on all that equipment.
Yeah, biggest bang for your buck. So instead of spending $6,000 on a step mill, maybe we can just get a $90 or $100 plyometric box that people do box jumps or step ups on.
Sure.
Maybe you can use that instead of a $6,000 Stairmaster step mill. So just things. I know every fire department is tight on their budget, so just
absolutely
things we can think about.
It says row machines, pull weighted ropes, weighted dummies.
Yes. Yeah, cable pulling machines. Yeah, we're all.
Yeah, Greek. I'm gonna turn in the sideways to see the head. So let's talk about the big 8 of firefighter functional fitness.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if you know these or have memorized them by now.
I think I may. After 5 years, I think I might
have them down.
I'll tell you what. I can try and find it in the book if I find a picture, and I can show it as I page through
the diagram. There it is.
Okay, so the big 8 is within our first pillar, our physical fitness pillar, and I'm not sure if you can read that. So the first thing we talk about for firefighters in big 8 is core strength that you see there at the top. Firefighters need to build up their core. And when we talk about core, and we're not just talking about RIP, shredded abs. I mean, it'd be great if every single firefighter had ripped shredded abs, but everybody knows abs are made in the kitchen, right? They're not made,
there we go.
doing crunches all day long. So if you want abs, more power to you. But so we talk about core. Not only is that the front of your torso, that's the back of your torso. It's the side of your torso. It includes your hips and includes your shoulders as well. So making sure that rock solid foundation is solid. After we talk about that, we talk about cardiovascular capacity, and we talk about that. We talk about that in depth as well. The minimum standard for cardiovascular capacity, based on NFPA recommendations, is 42. If we're talking about VO2, if you convert that to METs, so a metabolic equivalent of a task, that's right around 12 METs. So that's what the NFPA recommends. And you'd be surprised how many firefighters do not meet that.
Could not meet that, right.
When we talk about search and rescue operations under smoke conditions, that goes all the way up to 16 to 17 METs, and 12 is the minimum standard recommended by the NFPA. So we talk about high intensity interval training, doing firefighter circuits. I'm sure people have seen us post where, whether you have gear on or no gear or whatever, doing some type of high intensity interval training, whether it's sledgehammer strikes, ball slams, using the prowler sled. I like the easiest thing for me to remember is doing work for 30 seconds on, resting for 30 seconds, and then doing that for 30 minutes. If you can't do a full 30 minutes, that's okay. But 30 for 30 is an easy way to
way to start. Yeah, that is.
Easy way. Yeah, and you don't have to push yourself 100% intensity during the work periods. Just push yourself at 60 to 75% at first, and if you feel like you can do more, then push yourself more. Well, the worst thing for someone to do is just go 100% and then just peter out after 5 minutes.
Sure. Have one workout.
Yeah,
the last workout's the first workout.
They don't want to do the other 25 minutes of the workout.
No doubt.
So anyway, getting back to the big 8, we talked about core strength. We talked about cardiovascular capacity, which is so important for firefighters. Talk about flexibility is the third element of the big 8. So we all know as firefighters, 95% of the fire service are male. We all know that men are less flexible than women. We all know that the less flexible we all are, the more prone to injuries we are. And we all know the problem areas that firefighters face. Knees, back, neck, shoulders, all those different things are the risky places for firefighters to injure. So the more we can stretch, the more we can stay limber, more dynamic stretching we can do, the better off. And we have more than 30 stretches in our book. Some of them are revolved around some yoga stretches. I don't want to say the Y word, it might scare some people off, right? But we call it FOGA, so it's functional yoga. And I'm going to give a plug out to Yoga for First Responders. They are awesome. So if you're a firefighter, police officer, EMT, military, whatever, check out Yoga for First Responders. They're just such a great resource and nonprofit. And they're just looking to help the fire service too. So we partner up with them in the past, and we like to share each other's message. So we talked about core strength, cardiovascular capacity, and flexibility, right? So now we'll talk about the last 5, the functional strength categories. So I'll hold this up here again. So instead of doing what traditionally firefighters think of, chest, biceps, calf muscles, quad muscles, all these different muscles, we tend to, we share with firefighters functional movements that firefighters actually do. So pushing, pulling, lifting, carrying, and dragging. And so instead of talking about, is today chest day, is today tricep day, we talk about combining functional movements. We like to say, if you try and integrate these things into like a workout, a push and pull upper body workout. So yeah, you might do some chest presses, bicep curls or something like that for a pull, but we try and do it to where firefighters are doing more functional movements to where you can do a cable pulling machine with a rope.
Like pike pole. Right?
Yeah, for a pike pole, we're pulling ceilings. If we put the anchor lower for a cable pulling machine and we have that same rope, we can push upward like we're breaching a ceiling, right?
Nice.
So those are different things. We can bend over with a single arm row like this, right? A bent over row or a cable pulley roll like this. So we're starting a saw.
Starting our engines, right?
Yeah, something like
Small
that.
gas.
And talking about carries, firefighters, do lifts and carries all the time. Ladders, hoses, a 5-inch 5-inch 100-foot roll of hose is 100 pounds. You know, so we've all carried that supply hose before, a roll of supply hose, and it's not fun. So yeah, not only do we have to lift it, you know, basically sumo deadlift it up to our chest or something like that, then we have to carry it. So we got core strength. I'm sure there's a little cardio there. There's the lift, there's the carry. So that's what we really try and focus on within the Big 8, you know, core strength, cardiovascular capacity, flexibility, push, pull, lift, carry, drag. There you go. I remember the Big 8.
All of them, with no cheater cards or nothing.
That's right.
Dude, that's awesome. And then, of course, your 4 pillars, everybody knows them. You see them all the time from you guys. And the physical fitness, recovery and rest, hydration, nutrition, and lifestyle, which nutrition, that's the one that gets a lot of us, like you said. Yeah. Someone asked us here about blast mask. How do you feel about the blast mask? Is it beneficial? What's your take on them?
No, blast mask is awesome. You know, we tell firefighters anything you can do for your physical training that is, one, safe, effective, and functional, then do it, right? So with the blast mask, it mimics the same exact air restriction that we face when we have our, when we're geared up, we have our mask on, we're breathing off our cylinders, right? Breathing off our SCBAs. Most firefighters don't know that there's about a 20% reduction in cardiovascular capacity and power output, also for our muscles, for our lungs, for our heart, when we have our masks on. So when we need it the most, when we're going to work, we're fighting fire, we're interior, we're in all these carcinogens and smoke, we're masked up. That's when we need the most out of our body. So we love the blast mask. We've been training with it for, you know, several years, you know, more than 5 years. What a lot of people don't know with air restrictive training, with training with the blast mask, or if it's an elevation mask or whatever, what a lot of people don't know is, yes, there is definite benefit to training with the mask on, but what's more important, if you're really trying to build up your VO2 and your aerobic or cardiovascular capacity, when you're done working, you're done doing the workout, say I just did 30 seconds of intense activity, and you start to rest, that's when you really need to keep your mask on. When you want to just rip it off. Yeah,
right. I made it.
Yeah, and when you want to get rid of it, and when you're trying to rest and you're really trying to catch your breath and you're really anaerobic, or you're really trying to get oxygen, that's when you need to keep it on to get the most benefit out of it if you're really going to build up your aerobic capacity. So yeah, definitely check out Blast Mask. Go to blastmask.com, and they are just so awesome. I think they make them for Scots, for MSAs. Not sure if they make them for Dragers and stuff like that, Survive Air, but definitely for MSAs and Scots.
Last time I looked, they didn't have them for Survive Airs because I could not get them. That's what our department has.
Is that
so I have a respirator that's duct taped up the filters on it, and so it's a mask. Yes, that's what it is. So it works for now until they make one for the Survive Air. But what else was
I will say this while we're talking about blast mask. If you're really wanting one, you can find used SCBA masks on pretty cheap on eBay and stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, and then you buy your blast mask for Scott or MSA.
Scott,
or whatever it is. But yeah, I'm sure these guys will chime in and we'll put something out to what the update is. Yeah.
Awesome. I always give the guys a chance to review a book that's affected your life in any way, shape, or form, and I try to put out books that firefighters should read. Do you have a book you would like to suggest for the viewers that they need to read according to Jim Moss?
Oh, according to Jim Moss. So I really like Firefighter Pre-Plan. If we're talking about firefighters who are really up and coming and you want to be the best you can be, that's from our same publisher, not just trying to plug our publisher, but that's an awesome book, firefighterpreplan.com. You can also get it on Amazon if you want. But that's really great. I also really impacted me, Step Up and Lead by Frank Viscuso. Yeah. Just such a good practical book. And really what it all comes down to is leading yourself first, right? If we can't lead ourselves, we ain't going to lead anybody else. We're not going to have a positive influence on anyone else. So let's make sure we get our mindset right within ourselves. We lead ourselves every single day. And then we can talk about leading other people.
That's awesome. Step Up and Lead, and of course, Firefighter Pre-Plan. Now, it's Firefighter Pre-Plan. It's been a while since I read it. I ordered it from you. In fact, I ordered that before I ordered Firefighter Functional Fitness. I bought it for my little brother
Steal it back from them. Read it again.
But it's really good for preparing to become a firefighter.
Not yet. Well, preparing to become a firefighter, and also just firefighter, whether you
in general, right,
or a senior firefighter, things to read up on. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Jim, I cannot say enough. Thanks. What's the best way to get your book? Which way do you prefer to get your book?
Yeah. So if you go to our website, firefighterfunctionalfitness.com, that's the best way to get it. You know, if you're also interested in getting a sticker or a coin or a T-shirt or whatever, you can get one of those there. So that's definitely how we recommend it. We ship worldwide. So, I mean, we're in more than 40 countries now worldwide.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and fire departments, there's even fire academies, fire science, college science programs that are using this as mandatory textbooks for fitness, which is just so awesome. I can't even believe that. I'm just blown away by that. But
that's awesome.
Functionalfitness.com. I also just want to say, you know, we are so active on social media. Please reach out to us, direct message, you know, leave comments, and we'll get back with you. And if you have any questions at all, you know, one of my favorite posts I did in our stories for Instagram was, ask us any fitness question you want. And we just got so many different questions that were so great, you know, and you kind of get where people are coming from, what they're thinking about. So that was a lot of fun. But really, our email is firefighterfunctionalfitness@gmail.com. So if you want to contact us there, if you have any questions about the book, anything at all, if you want to know about our workshops and how.
As I say, is that the best way to get you for a workshop, is through the email?
Yeah, we actually have on our website, we have a workshop tab, and you can actually, you know, read people, what they have, other people who have hosted us, what they've said about our workshops. Also, if your fire department has peer fitness trainers, and they need Con Ed credits, and every peer fitness trainer does need Con Ed credits, we provide those through our workshops. So it's kind of win-win situation for everyone. You know, not only do you get a great workshop that's, you know, functional and practical for our fitness as firefighters, but our peer fitness trainers also get all the Con Ed credits that they need as well.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah.
So firefighterfunctionalfitness.com. Follow them on social media, Firefighter Fit, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere you can. Jim, you have been an unbelievably good host. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, it's been, yeah, let's do it again sometime.
I plan on it.
We'll talk about non-fitness stuff.
Okay, I'm all for it. We got that culture of the culture book that's coming, so we got to talk about that some more too.
That's right.
And I'm going to have your partner on, Dan. I'm going to get him scheduled on here. Next week is Mark Alone of the Fire Inside, and then Brian Brush is going to be the following week. So that's what's coming up. Mark Von Oppen, and then I'm starting to get into February. So it's going to be an exciting 2020. You are the first guest of 2020, so kicked it off in style. The #1 best-selling book on Amazon. So
you'll make me blush. You better stop.
I'm trying. So I really do appreciate you coming on. Everybody, thanks for coming and joining us. It's been the Weekly Scrap, number 21. Jim Moss, Firefighter Functional Fitness. And for everybody out there, I hope the tones stay silent unless it's burning. So thank you, guys.
Thanks,
thank you, Jim.
See ya.